Welcome, time for some art fun. Today, we're gonna find out if these can beat Posca pens. Grabie, which is this company right here, sent me this package to try because they know from watching my videos that I have been very into trying different types of Posca pens. So I've got the Amazon Basics, I've got the original Poscas, but original Poscas are like $3 to $4 a pen. And the Amazon Basics were $11 for this set. Or maybe 13. And I tried these and they were kind of hit or miss after I used them in my sketchbook. Some were really good. So I thought I'd do a comparison with the Grabie version. And so they sent me kindly for free their version of paint pens. Ooh, I'm excited. It already looks really cool. I'm not being paid for this. It's not sponsored. I don't have any horse in this race other than hoping to find something that's a little more affordable that can really compete with the Poscas. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so it comes, that's the box. Oh, it has a card. That's cool. It says, "May the art be with you." This is cool. It's like a coloring page. And it comes in its own little box, which I have to say I'm really excited about because I have to use this old used up candle for this one. And then I had this like jewelry sachet for the Amazon that isn't really working out so well, and they fall over and fall out really easily. So having it come in its own little case is actually a huge bonus to me. So that's a first impression plus. There are a lot of colors. I believe this set has 36 colors. Ooh, it's like a smooth, yeah, so 36 colors, acrylic painting. Here's their color chart. It looks like it's used the same way as a Posca pen. You shake it, shake, shake it, and then you use it that way. Now each one is individually wrapped, just like the Poscas come, individually wrapped in plastic. And the way that I open those is I twist it, and then the plastic tends to come off pretty easily. Yeah, see? Just comes right off. I wonder if that's the actual paint in there that you can actually see how low it is. That would be a huge bonus because both the Amazon and the Poscas have this black case and you can't see how much paint you have left. So if that's actually see-through and that's the paint level, that would be cool. I have to guess that is what it is, that these are clear because each body is that color. So I bet that is what's going on. So that'll be cool. So let me just unencase all of these. So this is the 36 set. There's also a 24 set. The 36 set is $33.99 if you use the 15% off code CUTE15, which of course I'll have on the screen right now. It'll also be in the description. So that is less than $1 a pen. Okay, that's the colors in a little bit more of an order that makes sense to me. I just left this one out so we could take a look at one of the pens up close. So there it says, "Marks on anything, water-based, pigment ink, strong covering force, sunproof and waterproof. Shake several times, press the tip down for a while, recap the pen tightly after your use, don't give it to kids." And it's an acrylic painter. I don't see any type of color name or anything on there, but we'll be able to see when we swatch it out how close the caps are to the color. Because if the caps are pretty similar to the color, and this is how they're displayed on my desk with the caps right in my face, even the paint color, if this is clear, which I'm really assuming it is based on the fact that every single one has the color of the paint that it would be, then you should be able to paint match just based on looking at that instead of having to call it something. The key is to be able to tell what the heck color it is. So we'll be able to see that based on the swatches. So let's get to swatching. I'm so excited. I have never seen these in person or used them before. I don't know anyone who has used them before, so I really didn't know what to expect. And when I first put that little white mark on the black ink that I had put on the paper, I was kind of blown away because I've used the white Posca pen and it's not this opaque. I had actually settled in to do a nice long swatching session, planning to do a voiceover later, but I had to stop because these are so surprising to me and I wanted you to hear my initial reaction. Like, that is crazy. Let me give you a close-up. Hold on. Look how much paint that is. Look how opaque the white is on top of the black ink and how thick that is. I mean, so much paint came out. You saw I only had to prime it twice and paint just poured out of there. So these are very flowy, and I'm going to obviously compare them to the Amazon and to the Posca, but right now I'm just ridiculously excited because this is very different from even some of the Poscas. This is a lot of paint coming out. I'm super duper excited. So let's see if this feeling holds up. But I was just like, okay, I need to stop right now to just give my very first impression is shock at how great those look to me. I keep trying to do just a straight voiceover and I just can't do it. Look at that. That's the silver metallic. And it's gorgeous. I have to say, I was totally prepared to not like these. I was totally prepared for these to be a whatever type of thing. But I'm like fully shocked at how opaque these look and how just delicious they are. They're coming out so fast. Like, I've never seen something where it's just like one pump and they just fall out. If anything, just be careful if you get these, not to just have it just pour out of the pen because it's super wet and juicy. Like, here, I'll do this one on camera again. One, and it's done. It's fully primed. Look at that. Fully primed with one pump. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is kind of nutty. Oh my gosh. And let's just do a cap comparison. I do think that the caps are pretty darn accurate to the pen color, which is really exciting to me. Ooh, this is a really pretty color. Let's see what this one looks like. Okay, out pretty much immediately. Oh, wow. Oh, I love that color. That's like a khaki brown. I think that's a good comparison. The color does seem to match. I'm like blown away. I'm so excited about this. But, ooh, that's pretty. Just to get this entire color set, and just from looking at the caps, it looks like a pretty darn good color range. To be able to get this many colors with this kind of coverage, that is, as far as I can see so far, ridiculously good, comparison to the Posca pens, is a really nice, affordable way to get into this medium if you want to play with paint pens. Acrylic, permanent, when they dry, paint pens. I got some comments when I did my unboxing of the Amazon pens that you guys are looking for a good alternative. And this is a lot better range. I mean, that is such a better range than the, whatever handful of colors you get with the Amazon Basic. I'm freaking out about how fast these come out and how wet every single one is. And so far, they're not treating my paper, they're not abusing my paper. Nothing's pilling, nothing is requiring scrubbing. It just falls out of there like an extremely wet brush. I mean, look how wet these still are. I wonder, we'll have to see how long it takes for them to dry. That'll be interesting. Okay, I'm gonna try to let this be a speed paint again. So at this stage, before I really got into a ton of tests, the main thing I noticed was this. These come out so fast and so wet. No matter how slow I went or how little I primed, paint just flew out of these pens. So I would say be very cautious as you're using them, not to just fling them around, because that's how you get in trouble. Clearly, as I did repeatedly. But it's beautiful. It is beautiful, and it's really fun to use because of that fluidity. Okay, I made a swatch card that I'm going to be putting into this little box, and just it'll live there. And I think I rearranged it a little bit since seeing the actual colors and just gave them names that I thought made sense. So that will live in the box. And then I picked colors based on what I know the Amazon Basics and the Posca brands look like in this sort of yellowy green. And so I picked colors that I know match up, but we're gonna do little tests in each of these boxes that I made with permanent ink in my Jinhao fountain pen, and just see how opaque, see how they dry, see how smooth they are, what kind of coverage we get, and just compare them apples to apples. So let's start with the Posca. Just straight from the tube, straight from the pen. That's what that looks like. Let's do the Amazon Basics. Posca has a fatter nib than the Amazon Basics, and the Grabie is a medium. I would say medium between these two. So let's see how this one looks. And take the same approach, just up and down. Oh wow, okay. Okay, do you see what I mean? Holy shnikes. This is the exact same level of pressure, the exact just up and down. This murders the Posca for coverage. This just completely destroys that's amazing. All right, I did not, I didn't see this coming. I actually thought the Posca would win hands down. Look at the difference in coverage between the Grabie, the Amazon, which is actually also better than the Posca. Everything's better than the Posca. What is happening? Do any of you know what is going on? What is going on? Okay, I wanted to do a head-to-head test. Done. I'm beyond ridiculously excited. I want to give you a slow roll of what I think these colors are and how they dry. Now, when I put a lot of paint down, it gets this sort of buckling or pinching effect instead of this super smooth coverage that you see with most of them. Once in a while, you'll see this sort of little, this one has a pinchy, the salmon has a pinchy. These aren't actually dry yet. The dark gray, the charcoal gray is beautiful. A lot of these colors are just stunning. I had no idea this even existed. I'm so excited that they did send this to me because it's not something I would have thought to try on my own without seeing a review. I'm so glad I'm able to give you this review. That's stinking crazy. So now what I want to do is an actual painting, and I'll leave my little color card available because this is super helpful for navigating. It's in the order that I have it now. And what I'm making is, you'll see in a second, but I'm just making a little landscape of like an Arches Moab type scene. I think that would be really fun with all the oranges and blues that we have here. I think we've got a lot of good options there. So wish me luck. So now that I've actually done a whole piece with these paints, and I actually redid part of it later because my husband had some comments and some feedback on the one that you're gonna see, and I just kind of redid it, and then I posted on my Instagram stories with a poll, which do people like better. So I'll put a picture of both at the end, but I can't, because I did that, I saw that it can take layer after layer after layer. I put so many layers on the part that I redid because I didn't just redo it once, I redid it several times. And it's this part right here that I'm doing now. That part got redone numerous times. So that is really good to know, that once it dries, as long as it fully dried, it took layers beautifully. So that's a pro. But I don't want to jump to the pros. Let's talk cons first. So it is always a con to me when you don't have color names on the pen. I do think that color names on the pen is helpful. Having it in an order and having a swatch card kind of took care of that for me, because this really handy dandy case that it comes with, which is one of the pros, really helped. It actually did keep everything together if you're using one pen at a time. I think that if you're going to take out numerous pens at once, it's going to get confusing and it's going to all fall together. So my approach was just to take out the pen I'm using. I only have one hand at a time. I only used one pen at a time. So no color names was the first con. The fact that if you just dump paint out, it will look pinched when it dries if you just plop it out. But I did not see that effect in the actual painting. I only saw that effect in the little blobs of color in the swatches. So I think because I'm moving my pen around and I'm moving the paint around, that pooling effect doesn't happen, and the pinched look of the drying just doesn't happen if you move the pen around. So just use it like a pen and you're actually fine. It's a con that you can't buy individual refills, just the 24 or the 36 case. I got the 36 case here. It does come out fast, and that's delicious, but you really do always have to be very on your game not to fling the pens around, because paint will come out and fling on your artwork. And that did happen to me, luckily, right out of the gate, but above the painting. So it kind of reminded me, hey, don't do that. You have to open the pens carefully. You can't just like open them and fling it open. You've got to kind of exercise and control when you open it. And I believe that was, oh, I would like some more light blue colors. I really figured that out in doing this particular piece because I was using so many blues. I would have loved some light blues the same way I had a ton of options for light pinks and light yellows. I would have loved some light blues. But I made some lighter blues just by mixing it with white. On to the pros, and there were way more pros. This is insanely opaque. it really does a beautiful job of covering up prior layers. All of this really dark paint here later gets covered up with that same blue from the top, the sky blue, and you couldn't see anything underneath. It's crazy. That little box test with the Poscas and the Amazon was true for every single pen. They're really Great color variety, the 36 colors. I didn't feel like any colors were samey. It was a really nice range of colors. The case, I cannot state enough how much I loved having a case. Obsessed with the fact that it comes with a case. The case sits beautifully on my desk. It's just so nice to have that. The paint is a really wonderful consistency. It is like a high flow acrylic paint is how I would put it. It's an extremely high flow acrylic paint. The see-through pen is really helpful because you can see the level that your paint is at. And I don't know of any other brand that I've used that does that. Maybe Molotow does that. I'm not sure though. And then the fact that this is less than $1 per pen when you use the 15% discount, the Cute 15, it is basically $34 for this whole set. That's less than $1 a pen. That's absolutely crazy. So they were really fun to work with. The cons were definitely outweighed by the pros. I would definitely buy this if I had seen a review of this and saw what it could do. This is what I would have gone for really from the beginning. Now, I don't know if they're light fast. I have no idea if they're going to be light fast. You'd have to run your own light fast test, just putting it in your window for 6 months. But I also don't know if the Amazon Basics are light fast or if the Poscas are light fast. So enjoy this satisfying tape peel. Let me know what you think of this product. If you're interested in this, if you're appreciating having some options to compete with Posca pens that are a little bit more affordable, a little bit more in budget for playing around, playing in your sketchbook with this really fun art material. I loved playing with this. I thought it was super fun. I don't normally use paint pens for a whole piece. I'm a multimedia artist, but because I'm evaluating this particular supply, I just wanted to use this supply. But I loved doing it with just these pens. It felt like being in kindergarten or something. I don't know how else to put it. You just felt like you were playing. Permission to play! Back again. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments which of the two versions you liked better. The one that I liked here, the final here, with all that stuff going on in the middle, and you can see it better here, or the second one right here that I did after my husband gave me his feedback. Which is your favorite, first or second? Until next time, check if you're subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and click that subscribe button, leave a like, and remember, create something cute.